Hi everyone. So we started the blocking of our animation and we made the first pose, which is the contact pose. And we have our timeline set from frame 1000 to frame 1050, which is 50 frames. Yep. So that's where we are. We so yeah, let's move on. And now, like making the first pose is always the hardest. And now from here, everything is going to speed up way more. Okay, so I'm gonna select everything as I mentioned. I'm gonna key this, and I'll make sure that I don't. I'll make sure that I don't key anything other than the curve. So I'm gonna turn off the stuff from here, and I'll make sure only the curves are on. So now I'm gonna drag, and I don't have to key the main global controller, so I can press S on frame 1000. Yep, that's our first key. Let me save this. I hope things will go successfully. Okay, so that's the first key. And now we can also press S on frame 50 because that's also the first key. The first and last are the same. And now, we can make our middle pose on frame 1025 because yeah, so that's that because that's gonna be our uh, yeah, the center pose. So let's see if we can utilize the animbot to mirror this pose, because right now this is a nice pose. So now we just you have to just mirror this pose to get it, because when we are walking, so in a walk cycle you have to make two steps, one for this leg and one for the other leg. So now we have to mirror the same pose on frame 1025 because that's the middle pose. So how are we going to do that? Let's try using animbot. So if you are not using animbot, I think you should use it. You should consider using it. And I have to turn it on from here. I think I have to find it. I had a toggle here for the animbot. Okay, I think I do have animbot down here. No, I don't. Now let me pause this video and let me get the animbot running here, and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so I have my animbot up and running now. Sorry for the bump. Okay, so now if I select all my controllers other than the global controller, so now I should be able to go to 1025, and if I press this mirror button on the animbot, I should get my animation reversed. Hopefully it should work. So let's see how it goes. I'm just gonna click here, and animbot is gonna do some thinking, and I'm gonna close this. Okay, so now we got our animation flipped. I'm gonna press S. So that's great. Now we have our animation doing what it's supposed to do. We have a great blocking, and so now you can see the rig is decently smooth, even though we have so many shapes on this rig. If you just select way too many shapes, I think the rig is performing beautifully. Yep, it's great. So now we now we know that after this one, after the contact, we had the next pose is the down pose, where the transfer of power starts, where in the down pose the body is rested on the leg that just made contact, and we are going to make our down pose. So now we are done with our first, last, and the middle pose, and thankfully the animbot is working well, and we don't have to do too many things right now. We just have to keep proceeding with our right thing. So now as I mentioned, we are not going to worry about the fingers yet. Let's get done with the main pass first. We'll deal with the fingers later. Okay, so now moving on to the down pose. More importantly, more important than down pose, I feel that the passing pose have more significance, I think. Because in the passing pose, now we know that this foot just landed here. So this is the contact pose. I know that this foot is going to be here. But on the down pose, yeah, we are gonna be on this pose, but on the passing pose, we know that because this foot would have already left the ground, so we'll have a more clear picture. So, and that's how I like to make cycles. So I make the contact first, then the middle, and now we can split the pass pose here. And pass pose would work nicely somewhere in the middle. So even if I try to make a pass pose here on frame 13, it should work nicely. So yeah, let's make a pass pose on frame 13. I'm gonna select the controller which is on the ground, so the foot controller which is on the ground, and I'm gonna move this foot slightly back. So right now our auto key is off, and I'm gonna turn on my auto key, and I will also make sure that in my preferences, my animation, I want my animation default in and out tangents to be auto span legacy, like the default one. That's what I like to use, because I like to design my things myself, make my curves myself. So yeah. Okay, so now this foot is going back. We are trying to make our passing pose here on frame 13. So I'm gonna first of all move this foot back here, and first of all, sorry, so yeah, okay, so this foot is going to continue here. So the foot here, like we know that the foot is going back, and this foot is going to continue to move back, and and continue to roll. So we might have to change some things in the foot. So that's why right now we are just trying to figure out the speed of this dyno. Now once we understand the speed, everything is going to make sense. So now the critical thing is the main thing is that we know what's the speed right now, because as we know, we have the first pose and we have the last pose. So now because of that, now we know what's the speed of this foot. So first, I think before we do anything else, as I think we should try to make sure that the ground is moving with this dyno. So that's very simple. I can select both of the leg controllers and I can open the graph editor. I'm going to go to Window, Animation Editor, and Graph Editor, and I will put my graph editor here. Okay, so now I just need to see my Z translate for both. So now you can see we are seeing all these extra bunch of stuff here. So we have to remove the keys from the unnecessary controllers here. So as I'm selecting both of the leg controllers, so let's see what happens if I just go here and if I just remove keys from all of these extra attributes here. So I'm just going to go here and I will delete selected on all these. Okay, yeah, so that's good. So now you can see I think hopefully we'll see less now. Okay, so now the list is way lesser, I think. Okay, that's good. So now we can select this Z translate, and we can try to make sure that this Z translate, when it's going down, it should be straight. So if right now this foot right now is starting to move with ease, and then it's kind of speeding up and then it's slowing down, we don't want that. We want this to be straight when it's going down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select all these keys, all these Z keys. I'm going to hold shift, and I will select each side of the tangent, and I will try to make them straight. So yeah, so now you can see as I made them straight, I don't have it don't have to be 100% perfect, as long as we got the main thing. So now it's kind of straight, so that's great. So now as it's straight, so now because of this, now we know the speed of this dyno. So now you see how fast this foot is moving back. So that's how fast this dyno is gonna be. And now I personally I start feeling I want this dyno to be huge. I want this dyno to be a very big dyno. Right now it feels like it's a little bit small. I want this dyno to be even bigger. So maybe I'm gonna change my frame rate here, instead of going from 1000 to 0 to 50, I'm gonna go from 0 to 60 maybe. So I think let's do that right now. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna select all my controllers again, and I will also change my frame range here from 50 to 60. I have some extra keys here. I can extend my range. So now all I have to do is I have to move my key here on frame 50 and just have to select this one by holding shift, and I'm going to move it here. And the same thing goes to this 25. Select it and move it to frame 30. So now we have uh, decent enough of I think this would be more preferable speed for me. I remember once I made a elephant walk cycle. The elephant takes 60 frames to move, so I think even this dyno should take the same. So now again I can try to fix the Z translate for the foot. I'm going to select both of the foot controllers. I will select the Z translate, and now again I can hold shift and I can select these tangents, and now I will try to make sure I only selected one side of the tangent so that I can try to make these curves straight when it's going down. The reason I'm trying to make sure they're straight like this, because I need to get this curve, this tangent, to go straight. And if I can get it straight like this, so then now I know how it's gonna go. I want to get the flow of the tangent. So now they're very straight, so that's good. So now I will be able to get the flow of this foot, because this foot had to keep going. And now because of that, now that's what I was mentioning, that on the on the passing pose. So now we know that the passing pose is going to be on the frame 15. Now, I was mentioning that the passing pose is important because now we know that this foot is going to be here, because we already got the speed locked. Because the best thing about making the contact is, as you make the first and the middle pose, you automatically get the speed of the character. Automatically get how fast the foot and the character is going to move. So now we can feel now how fast this character is going to move. It's going to be a huge time, like yeah, for sure we still have to fix the foot animation. Okay, so let's not slow down. We have to still deal with a lot of things. So yeah, I'm gonna go to frame 15 now. I think 15 would be a good frame to make and mainly because or maybe the down pose also would be a good pose. So I think, yeah, I'm sorry for the confusion. Let's make the down pose. So now we are done with the 1000. So now I'm going to go to frame 1005. I think 1005 would be more than enough, because in these 5 frames, I'm 100% sure that this foot will be fully on the ground. So I believe that this would be a decent down pose on 1005. So I'm going to select the front controller, this one, and I will make this 0. Oh, sorry, what's going on? Oh, I think definitely there was something funny going on. So maybe I have to change my settings, so I'll see. Okay, so now for now, I will make 0. Okay, so now, yeah, maybe I think it's some calculation issue. I'll try to change my settings to if it keep happening. Okay, so now the foot is fully on the ground, and I can make sure that this part of the foot is also 0. And I can also reduce this this thing. So yeah, the issue that's happening right now, why the pop is happening, is I have to change my settings. I'm going to also make sure I save my file. So okay, and now I can change my preferences here. I'm going to go to the settings and sorry, animation, and I'm going to change from parallel to DG. I think that's what we need. Okay, so it's going to make it slightly heavier, but for now let's do that. Okay, so now we have this foot going on the ground. Yeah, so that's the ground pose. Maybe we might make a little bit different pose here, and maybe now as we are seeing this pose, maybe I feel like I might change my rotation. I might reduce this from this much to maybe a little bit less. So right now it's 13, or maybe I'm just going to change this from 13 to 7 maybe. I think that would be a decent rotation. The same thing goes to this one. select this and change this y rotation from 13 -13 to -7. Okay, yeah, that's going to be more decent. So yeah, okay, so now this foot is going to go come on the ground, and as this foot is going to come on frame 5, as it's going to go on the ground, maybe I can add, I can, you know, select go to rotate y, and now I think, you know, I can move. I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to add a key here on 5, and then this one I'm going to move, rotate this entire foot slightly like this, you know. So now as the foot is going down, maybe it will rotate like slightly. I mean, not this much, maybe, you know, this much, but maybe I'm just going to reduce the rotation slightly. Yeah, and then it's going to continue to go, and yeah, we'll see what's going to happen later. For now, it's going to stay like this, so that's good. And now we are getting a more clearer picture how it's going to be. As I mentioned, we are not going to worry about the fingers yet. That's, we're going to take care of that detail later. And now as the weight is going on this leg, I think, you know, we should also rotate this one, so that, you know, this part of the leg is also carrying a lot of weight here. So maybe I'm just going to increase the rotation here on this leg. So now we have something like this happening. You know, this thing is going to happen way quicker. Right now we just have a general down pose. And yeah, so now as this is going down, you know, we can also try to move, you know, animate the up and down. So now, like, you know, we can decide that, you know, how we want to animate the up and down. Do we want to animate all together, or do we want to animate one by one? You know, we can decide that. You know, for now, I'm just, maybe I think for, I'm just gonna use this main controller for now. You know, to add up and down. You know, I want to use this one personally. I want to use this one, and I want to animate the up and down for front and back body separately. And maybe I should do that, you know, but yeah, I'm just you know, conflicted with, you know, how should I proceed. Yeah, for okay, so what I'm going to do here on frame 5, I'm going to select the back body and I'm going to move it slightly down. And so as the back body is moving down, the front body also have to move down. So for now, let's not worry about the front body. Let's get done with the back body first. And I think it's moving down way too much, so I'm going to reduce the downward motion maybe by half from the graph editor. Okay, so that's that much should be nice. I think going from 0 to 0.5, I think. Okay, and as the it's going from 0 to 0.5, you know, down, I mean, the down pose, this side of the hip also is going to go up. So I'm also going to rotate this controller in this side. So now you see, like, it's all going to come together really nicely. So it's going to work out nicely. So yeah, I moved it down, and I also rotated slightly, like, you know, maybe now I feel that maybe I can move it down even more. Okay, yeah, for now let's continue with the exaggeration. It's okay. And as the weight is going here, maybe I can increase the rotation slightly like this, so that the back side is going up like this. So now the hips were going down here, and now the hips are going slightly up here. So, like, you know, I just rotated it slightly higher. Okay, so that's good. And regarding y rotation, like y, we can already see is going less, but we don't have to do too much. Maybe I'm just gonna reduce the y rotation just slightly, not too much, just slightly, you see. Okay, so now we have a lot of things going on. This z, you know, rotate z, I think we've been a little bit too far, maybe like too fast. Maybe, you know, it's gonna still rotate even more. So I think this much should be fine. So it was like way up here. I reduced it to around 6. So z rotation. So now we have this up and down going on in the back body. We can now do the same thing here. Now we can try to bring the front body down, but, you know, the front body is going to have a way different mechanics, and I'm going to focus on that later. And maybe I might just use this controller to get done with the front body. And so I think that should be fine, me using like back one for this and this one for this. It might work. I think we'll see. Okay, so for now I was trying to detail the back body. So yeah, it's going down and it's doing all this. This foot is, the front foot is already on the ground. The back foot, I think here would still be on the I believe it will start rolling for sure. um, so here we had a little bit of roll. um, Maybe I think we should not have had any roll here. um, so I'm going to select the foot. Sorry, this is the foot roll controller. So I think we should not had any roll here. We should have kept the roll foot to 0 like this. But let's not overthink. I'm going to keep the roll a little bit. And now on frame 5, I think the roll is going to for sure increase a lot. And now you see, like, as I'm increasing on 5, I think this much makes more sense. So on frame 1000, if the foot is like already rolling this much on frame 5, then on frame 1000 it need to be 0. So we have to move these first keys to 0. We don't have any option. We have to do that. And we have to do that to the other foot as well. So I'm going to select this foot, um, this one, and here. So that's fine. But on frame 30, this need to have be around here. So now we'll make another down pose here. So for now, let's continue with this. Okay. Okay, so now we made this foot going down. We have a roll happening, and there was no roll happening before. And we have to make sure that this foot still keeps going down. So right now the foot is returning, so that should not happen. This foot need to keep going back. And it might maybe start returning somewhere here, but have to, we'll figure out that later. For now, this foot need to keep going back. So that means on frame 105, I'm going to add another key here, and I'll try to make sure that this line is going straight. And I want to see this thing cycling nicely here. So maybe what I'm going to do here, I will select all my controllers, and I will go to curves, pre-infinity cycle, curves, post-infinity cycle. And then I'm also going to turn on the infinity visibility from there. Okay, so now we have this thing happening. That's fine. Now we can see the infinity here. And the reason I was trying to say that was so that we can see the things happening more. So we were on this foot, so we were trying to move this controller back. So now we will be able to see that this line is going, and we want this line to keep going. Again, you don't have to worry about being 100% accurate, like we want to, but as long as it's going straight, it will work. So I'm just going to make sure it's going straight nicely. Okay, that's great, because it still have to keep going straight, so we might delete it later, but for now we need to just get the pose right. So that's great. So now we see, like this is working nicely. Now it's going back in a nice way. And like so now we will try to see like what we should do with this controller later. For now we just have to get a general feel for the down pose. We don't have to key everything on this one. Yeah, so we'll see. Okay, so now maybe on frame 5, I think I'm not going to change too much. I'm just going to still going to keep this side slightly higher, like as it was already. And the angle on this is fine. Maybe I think I can keep it slightly back here. And even like on frame 1000, I think I would have kept this slightly back. I think that would have looked nice. And I should do the same thing with other side. I'm going to select this hip kind of sorry, clavicle, and on frame 30 I'm going to just rotate this slightly, so that is we don't have to match it 100%, but yeah, this is good. Okay, so that's okay, so now we were here on frame 5. Okay, so this is fine. Now maybe I can definitely reduce it. It's not this one. Oh, there's something else. Okay, I'm gonna select, oh, should select this one. Okay, so now this is fine. So now maybe I can keep it going down slightly. Sorry, just this one. So now we have this thing happening. We have the foot, both of the feet moving back nicely, the body going down, and yeah, and now this side of the hip will be going up because it's gonna start carrying weight. So in frame 105, first of all, I'm gonna move it up. So yeah, as I'm moving it up, so now, as I'm moving up, you see I'm only changing translate Y. So you might be in world mode, and if you move it up in world mode, you see you're changing everything. So if you hold W on your keyboard, and if you hold left mouse button, you go to axis and live object axis. This is where you should be. So now you can move it up, and now maybe I can rotate it slightly like this just to get a better feel. Okay, so now we can feel this kind of going slightly slightly higher. Okay, we can see here, and okay, so that's great. Now we can see it going up, and now maybe I can rotate slightly like this. The leg itself is looking better, you see. Okay, so that's working nicely. And now, maybe you feel like, that you might have done something better, but yeah, it's all good. We made a decent pose here on this leg. This leg is also looking good, and the back leg again, like, we can add more details later. For now, I just want to get more or less everything working nicely. This is good. Now I'm going to select the front body. So now again, we have to make a decision, like, do we want to move this up and down? Do we want to do that like this, or do we want to use this controller? Let's try using this. I would prefer moving it, but this would be something new. I think, I want to experiment with, like, but as I'm doing this, I can feel that, the body is kind of squeezing slightly. So I think that might not be the best move, and or if it's not the best move, then I want this controller to move with this back body. So is there any option here for this? Like, so right now we are holding this controller 00. So let's see if we can change the space of the controller 00FK. So parent, so it is already on the parent, but so center of gravity, that's also the same. So let's see what center of gravity looks like. So now if we move it up and down, no, it's not moving with it. I think it's kind of same thing. Okay. This one, parent is following parents. I think it's for the rotation space. I want it to move as well. So maybe, we can move, we can even move this one down. I think, instead of moving this controller from here, this might not be the right pivot to move it. Maybe I think, we can move the body using this controller like this, and then maybe we can add some rotation, like something like that. We can try that for sure, and like, and yeah, let's try that maybe. So on frame 5 for now, let's just add a little bit of rotation and a little bit of translation, just slight bit, so that now we see the body moving. Now, as we can see, like, the body is moving way too fast down. So now I want to reduce it. So now I can reduce it slightly so that it's not going down as fast. And now the translate down part, maybe I think I can keep the speed of this one consistent. So we'll think about that later. Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. So now what we are seeing here is more than enough, and you can see that we just entered the down pose, so that's great. Now we can select everything again, and we can add key on everything. So don't worry, like, for now, like, we can remove the unnecessary keys later. For now, I just want to make sure that I'm kind of, blocking out everything. We might be keying everything unnecessarily. For example, the space switches and everything, we don't have to key them, but for now it's fine. So we have this down pose here, and now we can copy this pose as well, and we can flip our down pose on this 35 as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click and copy, and I'm going to go here on frame 35, right click and paste. Now we just have to mirror this pose. I'm going to click on the mirror. Okay, close. So yeah, now I think it's kind of working. All we have to do is we have to just I'm going to select this and I'm going to click on auto. So we have this auto. I'm going to click on auto. But now we might have to fix few of the curves. For example, I'm going to select this foot and this Z translate. I have to again make sure that it's going straight. I think for now that's the main one. Everything else would be fine. For example, like this foot is already going down here, so we don't have to worry. Like you might wonder, like other things like this, like yeah, everything is fine. Yeah, we'll deal with other things for now. Yeah, for now we have this down pose, and we have a down pose here. Like we don't have anything on the neck. We don't have anything on the neck here. Again, we'll deal with it more later. For now, we want to get the general things right. Okay, so this is good. And now let's try to get that last pose on which this foot will be leaving the ground. So how will we know that? So let's try to get that one as a passing pose. Passing pose is like when the back foot is leaving the ground. So we can somewhere around there. And the other main thing about the passing pose is the weight is completely on the foot which is on the ground. Like the weight will be completely on this one, and this side would be completely stretched out. So I think let's try to find out. So maybe on frame 13 I'm going to select this foot controller, and I will try to add a key here on the translation, and I'll move it back. So I think this is way too extreme. So we can see, like if we try to keep going with this till 13, that's going to be quite late. The leg is completely stretched. So now it seems like that's going to be the right trajectory. Again, like you might say that this trajectory might not be the perfect one, so we're going to make it perfect. We still have to animate the ground. We're going to do that. But for now, we are just trying to get a general understanding. If this keep going straight, so maybe on frame 12, maybe I'll move this key to 12, and I'll try to get a better trajectory on 12. So now this might work on 12. So if I select this controller, and on frame 12 I mean, and if I try to rotate this, and let's say if maybe I'll say that maybe it will look like this, it might, or maybe it might be, I think I should be able to take it till 14 for sure. So whatever I did just now, I'm gonna just move this key. I'm gonna hold shift and click, move it to 14. So now it's rotating, so that's great. Now I think we can continue to that motion till 14. Let's translate Z. I'm gonna move it to 14, and I can move it down. So now I think this looks more believable now. The stretching of this leg. And yeah, we will do some more interesting things. So yeah, this is good, and yeah, this is great. And I can increase this rotation even more here, like this. And yeah, and we'll do some more nicer things here. And I'm gonna just slightly rotate it slightly in like this. Okay, so that's great. We have this foot going up, and now on frame 14 I can also select this other controller, and I can give a little bit better shape here on the foot, because on this one the foot will be leaving, so we might still have to move the foot up as well, so foot might go slightly higher. So that we are going to deal with it later. For now we want to get this feeling of this thing right. For now we have to fix many other things, but yeah, okay, so that sounds Now let me try to get the speed first. I'm gonna go to this settings again. Let me save the file first. And now instead of work cycle 3, I'm gonna go to work cycle 4, and that's gonna be the new version. And so yeah, I will try to change my settings from this DG to parallel, and let's see if it's speed up. And if my file is still heavy, then maybe, you know, I'm gonna give you guys two files. One is a heavy rig, one light rig. So light rig might be, so now, you know, it is faster. We can see, like, you know, when we want to play some little bit faster animation, then we can use this. I think that's gonna work nicely. I think I can speed up a little bit more. So this is what's happening on frame 14. I can still extend it more. So let's do it. Like, you know, I can give a couple more frames. I think 10 frames will be more than enough. So maybe I'm going to hold shift here. I'm already selecting the foot controller, and I'm going to select the toe as well. And I'm going to move this to frame 16. So now we have it happening for longer. Yeah, we're going to fix the Z, but I think this is going to work way better. Yeah, this will work nicely. I like this. Okay, now I'm going to select the foot controller, going to the Z translate. Now let me fix this first. I'm going to make it go straight. Okay, so now it's going straight. Okay, so now the foot is nicely going to roll. You know, I think it's going to look beautiful now. And it's going to start moving forward in a nicer speed here. So I'm going to add another key here, and I'm going to move it slightly faster so that, you know, it will roll quickly and it start moving faster. And then again, I'm going to maybe add another key here. I'm going to add a slightly faster speed here as well. Okay, now we have a decent kind of thing happening. So now I feel like it's a little bit too fast. You know, I go back and forth. So, you know, maybe, yeah, I'm gonna quickly select these keys again. I have to select, you know, my this one and the other key as well, and also this controller, so which is still in the back. So I'm gonna move the other one by one frame, and this one I'm gonna move back by one frame, and this key as well. So I'll have to make sure I'm selecting all my main foot controller, which is this one, the foot controller, and the roll one. So now all of them are on the right spot. I think this might work better. Let's see again how it looks. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. So now it's exactly in the middle. It's leaving on frame 15. I think that's gonna work 100%. So now we know that on which frame the back leg is gonna move. So now we can handle this one later. For now, let's try to nail down this frame 15 where this back leg is moving. So now we can start to get some, you know, finger details. So now we can, so that we can see, like, you know, what kind of detail we want on the foot here when the foot is leaving. That's where we will be able to nail down now, you know, how we want to feel this foot. Yeah, but for now, you know, let's try to get the Z right first. Like, you know, I'm gonna select the foot controller, go to Z, and now we can see that Z is going. So now, like, you know, let's try to get now, you know, as we have a clear understanding of, like, you know, the entire picture of the foot. So now we have this one foot which is doing the entire thing, like it's going forward, it's landing, going down and moving back, going back, and, like, you know, it's doing everything. And, you know, so now, and, like, you know, so Okay, he's landing. It's gonna look really heavy for sure. Okay, so now it's doing all these things. So now we can try to get the motion of the foot, like, of the ground right for sure. So now we can, start from, I can start from frame 30, I think, because this foot is touching on the ground on frame 30 here. And from there is going straight. So now I can try to match the ground on from frame 30 to 60. So I'm going to turn on this selection here, and I will select the ground. And I will, on frame 30, I'm going to move the ground slightly back. And maybe I'm going to move it back enough so that, yeah, so that, the checker is kind of touching the end of this controller here. So I will select this translate Z, and I'll try to move it using the middle mouse on the viewport. So yeah, this matching now. I'm going to press S. And now I'll have to make sure the same checker goes with the foot till there. So I will use my middle mouse to keep it going back. So now I know I'll just make sure the foot is matching. So it's 100% nice. And I'm going to press, I'm going to select this translate Z. So now this is the speed of our dyno. So I can select this curve. I can make it straight, curves, pre-infinity, cycle with offset. I think that's going to work. And the same thing, curves post infinity, cycle with offset. So now I could have made it linear as well. So, but now we don't have much space on this side. So I can move the ground a little bit down. So we have maybe I'm gonna find a different checker, maybe this one. Okay, so that's good. So now this is gonna work nicely. So we have enough space on the first side and enough space on the other side. Okay, great. You're getting the picture now. So this is good. We have this foot going back, rolling, coming forward. So now we can try to get the feeling of this foot going back nicely. I'm going to turn off the geo selection. Now I'm going to turn the translate Z. So now we know that from 30 to 60 this have to go straight. That was working, so this is good. You don't even need this key, but it's fine. And after 60, now when the foot is still going back, so now we can still nail down nicely. Now I can select the ground here quickly, and I can move the ground slightly back so that it's matching. And now I can try to track the foot with the ground using this checker so that it's nicely there. That's good. So now I'm going to select the foot again, turn off geo selection, and now I can track that if it's moving nicely with the ground. So now we can see I can speed up slightly. Same thing here, frame 15, I can speed up. So now goal here is that the foot now is going to leave and it's going to start moving forward. So now that thing, that leaving and moving forward part, so okay, let me add a couple keys to smooth out. So now that last part, the leaving and all that, so that need to be smooth. So I think we have to now also work on this controller, because that's going to play a really big part in this role, because this motion need to blend in, and that's how the Z should blend in nicely with this. And we can try turning on a motion trail also. So maybe I can select this roll controllers right in the middle, and I can turn on the trail, and maybe I'm going to save my file first. Okay, so yep, clicking on this motion trail. Okay, so we can see it's suddenly speeding up. We can see now we have to make sure that this is nicely leaving the ground and speeding up. So now we see it's clearly not working, the motion right now. So it's need to work nicely here. So this is not working at all. So on frame 15 now, I think I can definitely rotate it more, and I can yeah. So now we will definitely try to smooth out. So now you see now it's starting to get better as we are rotating this. So okay, that's getting better. Okay, so that's working. And now the speed is good. Now we also have to work with the translate up. So I think the roll is working well. I think there's a, I can definitely maybe try to slow it down maybe here, like on frame around frame 10. Maybe I can reduce it slightly. I think it can speed up way faster around here. So like this, but yeah, I think the roll is enough. So maybe I can, this is good. Now yeah, that's good. And it's gonna stay like this. Maybe it's gonna come back a little bit, but but yeah, it's gonna be somehow like this. Okay, so now we have something happening here on the foot. Now I want to make sure, I want to move, animate the translate Y also. So on frame 15, the main passing pose, I'm going to select this and I'm going to press S here, and I want to add a few more keys in the translate Y here. So now you can see, like, the flow of this curve here is very nice here until frame 11 or even 12. I'm going to add a key there. And after that, from 12 to 14, it's going kind of slowing down. So maybe, I want to introduce some translate, upward translate here. So I'm going to start moving the foot up here so that you see now it's kind of moving nicely. I'm going to make it like this. Yep. And I'm going to add another key here, move it up. Okay, so that's way more smoother now. And now I can just do a few more things with the translate Z. On frame 14 is fine, but on frame 15, maybe I can let it start a little bit early so that this curve is looking better. And maybe add another key here and like this. And okay, so that's a better angle. So now we see, like, the middle of the foot is moving way nicely now. So that's what we wanted. We wanted to get the speed right. So I think we can still make it better. So now on frame 17 here, like, I think I can add another key here. I can try to make it slightly faster here, and like, I can try to let this curve start a little bit early, so that in this one, so as we are designing this, so now, and again, like, now here also I can let it go a little bit slower. It does not have to speed up like that. Maybe it does. Maybe, like, okay, so let me try to do some more details, one frame by frame again. I'm gonna move it a little bit faster, this one a little bit more faster, this one a little bit more faster, and so on. Maybe it's a little bit less faster here. So now I think this might work a little bit more nicely, and maybe we can try playing around a little bit more so that this is working, because it's a little bit critical, like we have to get the detail in a nice way. Okay, so now also, like, as the foot is leaving the ground, now we have to keep an eye on the translate up. I'm gonna move it slightly higher, and on frame 14 I'm gonna move it slightly down, and as it's going up, and on frame 17 I'm gonna, or maybe 16, I'm gonna add another key slightly higher, and on frame 20 I think maybe I can add another key, I can move it even more higher. So this is, now we have a curve going up, and then it's gonna go slightly down here because it's passing from the body going down, and now it's gonna land here. So now we have to give it another tip here, so before landing, and it can fall down. So now that's the trajectory of the foot. It's if I play now we can feel the weight of the foot now. Now we are getting the correct weight on the body. So, like, we can continue working on this foot now. Now we are, like, once we have the foot animation, the body will be, so like, like initially, like what the workflow that we were trying to follow, we were trying to get this foot animation right. Once we have the foot working correctly, everything is gonna fall on the right spot. Okay, so now as this foot is falling down, I'm gonna select this front controller again, and I want to give a little bit of a better shape here, like this, and I want this to happen a little bit faster. So now on frame 32, I want this to go completely on the ground, and I'm going to make it sharp. So now you see, like, it's and even on this frame 31, I'm going to make it go down a little bit more faster, so that this downward motion here is happening way more quicker. And yeah, so this is getting better now. Like, if we want, we can make it a little bit more smoother. For example, we can move it one step ahead, and like, we can try to make it a little bit more smoother action here. Okay, so now that's even more smoother. Okay, so now, like, now this, and like, we can try playing with the motion, like translate y of the foot here. Now, as we can see here, like how fast the foot is. And now, we can feel the ground also, like, the foot is going to touch the ground. So now, first of all, let's deal with the translate y, because the fingers are going to be somehow like this. So for sure the dinosaur will try to avoid touching the ground here. So maybe I can move slightly higher the y, and then same on frame 28, can move it slightly higher. It's going to fall down on the ground. And okay, so that's great. And okay, so that's great. So now, the speed is working in a nice way. So now the up and down and everything. And now, like, now I can try to get a little bit better sense of this translate z. So like, I know that the foot is going to touch the ground here. So, somewhere here. So I think the foot will, for now, I'm just going to give a quick pose. So, the foot will have a pose like this, and then it's going to come down, something like that is going to happen. For now, I'm just trying to get a better sense. So now, by looking at this finger touching the ground, maybe first of all, I'm going to select this ground, and I'm going to move this z slightly lower, so that I can track the finger touching the ground. So the finger is kind of touching around here, around here. So maybe I'm going to move it here, so that, it's kind of following. So now, based on that, I can, try to design my translate z. I think I will be able to understand more. I'm going to select the foot controller again. So the foot controller is making contact here on frame 30. So that's great. Now, but, I can try to add, yeah, I think I don't have to add a slide. I was trying to add a slide. So maybe, on frame 31, I can add a key. And on frame 30, I can move it slightly back. I was trying to add a little bit more smoother blend, but I think it's fine. And I think around somewhere in the middle here, when the foot is coming forward, maybe I can add another key, and I can move this part slightly back. So now we have a more nicer angle here. And this one also, I think this is all good. Okay, that's great. Perfect. So now we got a very good sense of the foot animation here, the way the foot is moving. Now for sure, like, we have a long way to go with the other part of the body, but for now, like, we got, for example, like, when this foot is leaving here, like, the kind of angles we are getting. So now we can kind of make a better sense, like, how maybe, like, for now, from on frame 8, maybe I feel like, that I can try making a better animation on this translate, sorry, this roll here, a little bit better roll. And maybe I can increase this slightly. and then on 10 this is fine. So now I can try playing around with a few things, and like around here again I want to keep it going down. I want to you know yeah, okay, so that's great, and I'm gonna keep it up, and like this. Okay, and yeah, for sure I'm gonna fix this controller, like the lower leg controller. When it's coming forward, it might have a better angle. um, yeah, and I still have to work on it. And even when it's landing, I think it might go slightly higher here, and yeah, like here I think maybe might go. I might have to play around, like how to make it look better here when it's trying to touch the ground here. And like this. And on frame 15, I think I can first, as it's leaving, I can extend it as it's leaving, but as soon as it's done leaving the ground, it can start to collapse. So like I think that's how it's gonna look nicer. So you see, like as we are adding more specific detail, like one by one, so it's coming into, it's falling on the right spot. So now I can speed up this roll here, and I can, on starting from frame 12, I can increase it, decrease it slightly, and then I can try to start the roll right from here. Okay, and now, like we also have some bendy controls. We can get way better shapes on the legs now. But that's, we're going to worry about it later. So now on frame 30, I can increase it slightly, just slightly, and then maybe till frame 32 it can still kind of stay on the same spot, and then it will start going down. Till frame 37 it can continue to go down, and then it can go up slightly, and then again it can go down on frame 45. So like we blended the straight ahead and pose to pose in a way that so now we are trying to detail this foot, this foot animation as much as possible. Once it's done, we're going to copy the entire animation, and yeah, that's how we're going to save time. And yeah, you're going to copy this side of the leg to other side. So now if you see, now as this leg is approaching there, now I can try to blend this part in an even better way. Maybe I can move it slightly up like this. um, okay, so like what I don't like here is after here, like when the foot is trying to settle down here, it's a little bit too delayed. So I'm just going to select all of this, and I'm going to move it slightly back. I just gave a quick shock, went down, and then it's trying to maintain the weight. So it will try to maintain. Let's see. Now, I have to make sure that this blend is working nicely. Now maybe I can try animating backward as well. So as here the foot is trying to roll here, how do I want the foot to unroll here? So maybe on frame 100, sorry, on frame 0, I can try to increase it, like so that is somehow up here like this, and then it suddenly rolled like this. So now I can try to add a few more bumps. So now I'm gonna do more details on this, based on the other leg. So now here, like the foot landed here. I'm gonna add a few more keys. So foot just landed here. Maybe I will try moving this dino slightly back as this thing is happening. I think back and forth movement will maybe it will bring some new angle to this. For now, as the foot is landing, I'm going to select this again. So, and on frame 28, I'm going to increase it up, like so that it's more up. I want a better angle here. So I'm just going to do some polishing on this leg and keep going up. Yeah, that's better. And like as we still have to do some up and downs on the body, so I don't want to end up doing way too many details on the foot yet. But for now, I think we have enough details happening on the foot that we can start adding some nice finger animation here, and then we can start finalizing the up and down on the body. And I definitely want to try adding some finger animation here, starting from this root one. Let me start from this side. So I think I can call this as a it's already 1 hour, so I can call this as the blocking. So now we have the main thing happening. So now we have kind of a general understanding of the dino motion. Like now we can see like it's moving in a very slow motion. Like maybe I would like to move it even faster as it's touching the ground. I just want to quickly finalize that main motion, and then I want to end this blocking animation so that we can move on to a main pass. Like so now, like then we will start transferring, finalizing the leg animation, and then move to the body. Okay, so now one thing I can say is like as the foot is touching the ground here on frame 30, so maybe I can scale this. So maybe I can turn on this fourth tool, and I can try to scale the foot slightly more so that it's touching the ground in a more extended way. So like maybe we might find a better angle for the leg here in this way. So now yeah, so now maybe on frame 30, maybe a little bit less. So you see like there's a slight error. It's because of the DG process, or like so I can change it, it'll look better, but it's faster. You just have to play. So yeah, so now like we have this I think that maybe this much should be good. So now this foot moved forward slightly. I think that's gonna look better, I think. And even on frame on the last one, and like how far back it's going. Let's see. I think that's also looking good. It's going far enough. And now going forward and touching the ground a little bit further ahead. And maybe I'm just going to reduce slightly, just slightly. And that'll be fine. So now I'm going to continue. Now, for sure, like, I have to redo the ground. I have to rematch the ground on um, with the foot. So yep, I'm gonna select the ground. I will select the translate Z, and I'm gonna match again this on frame 60. I'm gonna match with this gray thing, checker to the last of the edge of my controller, and then on frame 30, I'm just gonna match it again here. Okay, that's good. Just make it spline, and now it's going good. Now it's going to go with the ground. So I think this would be a more ideal speed. It's going to be very slow for sure, but yeah. Okay, let's continue with the leg motion. I think we can start introducing some up and down, and I want to mainly start making the leg motion better. So I feel like the knee here is having way too much motion. I want to minimize the knee, so like how much bend this knee have. So maybe I think we might be able to find a little bit better pose for the foot where the knee does not have to look like that. So I think this knee kind of bend here is not optimum. I feel like the dinosaur will not conserve much energy with this. So maybe I'm gonna add another key on frame 25 and this lower controller on this one, and I'll try to increase the rotation here so that the foot is kind of more straight. So now you see like we are kind of relaxing the foot a little bit more. So I think this would look better. So now the foot will leave the ground, and like by frame 19 I think it will start to turn back, and it will continue to go forward, and maybe I can reduce it slightly and this. And now on frame 20 like 30 I think maybe I can keep it somehow like this, and I can delete this one. So now I think this would work nicely. So it's at least for the leg here, like I think this would work way better. And for sure I might have to do some other things here to make it look better. So this rotation is coming from this controller, and I feel like this we might not need it. I feel like removing the rotation from this so that we can completely utilize the rotation on the foot. Yeah, I think we should do that, but for now let's leave it. I'm not going to touch that rotation, and that's kind of helping us with this. And we have some of that rotation happening on the this Y as well. So maybe we can get rid of this. We don't really need it. So yeah, I think we are just going to deal with the rotation from here. I removed the rotation from the main controller, so that's good. Okay, so now we have this foot touching and going down. And now we can try playing some sideways motion here on the foot. I'm going to select the foot again, and as this foot is leaving the ground, and initially as it leaves the ground, maybe we can move it slightly inward like this, and like it's slightly inward. And maybe on frame 11 I'm going to add a key, and then on frame 15 I'm just going to move it slightly in, just for the it's okay to slide a little bit, and maybe I'm not that much, and I think something like this. I'm going to keep it for now, and I will select the front roll controller, the front one, and I will try to change the sideways side to side angle. So we already have some, oh sorry, I think I select the wrong one, this one. So I want to add some X rotation animation here. So we already have some animation happening. I just want to increase it a little bit. So something like this. I think now this would make more sense. So on frame 10 I can rotate it slightly in like this, and then it's going to go like this, and by frame 19 I think I can try to bring it back so it can leave the ground, and then it can try to come back here. 22, it can try to come back. And again on 15, can rotate more, and now as this foot is touching the ground here, now we can all again, like we can touch the ground in a little bit different way, in a more angled way, like how we are having touching right now, and that's gonna look nice, I think, for sure. I'm gonna just let it happen quickly. That's great. But what I'm gonna do here is I will select this foot controller. I'll select to translate Z. So now we see like the foot is kind of sliding here. So I already have a key on frame 35, but on frame 31 or 30, I'm just gonna move this slightly in, sorry, down. So now we see like, as the foot is landing, it will not look bad. Like, as it's landing, maybe I can move it down like this. Like, now it will not look like, it's kind of, because it's a heavy creature, it won't be able to slide the foot that much. But now I think it's gonna look better. For sure, I'll still have to play with the up and down. So on frame 33, maybe I can move it slightly higher. And on frame 30, I can move it slightly higher as well. I can blend this part. Okay, so that's working. And now a little bit more detail here. So maybe I'm just gonna move it up slightly. So this is great. So now the foot landing is working nicely. And maybe a little bit more. I'm going to select this translate Z, add another key here. I'm going to move it slightly inward. It's leaving the ground nicely, going up, taking a curve, going back again. And maybe I can tone it down a little bit. Okay, so yeah, that's good. Whatever happening so far is working. Now I can try to balance out this controller as well. So as it's rolling, now we see like there's a kind of sudden motion here. I can try to do some balancing here. So now on frame 15, maybe I can rotate slightly, and then it can quickly rotate other way. And can move, rotate slightly, and I think for sure on frame 29 I can rotate a little bit more, and maybe can make some sharp action here. And on frame 42 maybe I can keep it bent down. I think that looks heavy for sure, as the leg stays bent. From 46 again I'm gonna keep it bent, and then as it's ready to leave the ground, then maybe I'll start to move it. But for now I'm gonna select this rotate Z even here. I'm gonna keep it somehow like this, and I can give a little bit better angle to the entire curve. Even here I can add another key, and Okay, now it's leaving the ground here, and even here. It's giving a little bit better angle. And then again, as soon as it's leaving, uh, making sure that is leaving properly. So right now, the sudden sideways move, I think that's a little bit too much. So I just want to smooth out this part. Okay, so just trying out a few more translations here. So okay, so that's working. So now I can try a few more, rotations using this ball roll controller. So I can try some sideways rotations here at this, like, like that thing. I think it's going to look great. So as it's starting to roll, I can give it a little bit of a sideways roll initially. And then as the roll is increasing, increase it more and a little bit more. uh, like this. I think that's in nice. That should be good enough. And now I'm gonna let it come back here. So you see, like, I'm just trying to follow with the motion. And on frame 32, I'm just gonna add a little bit of and now I can try to make a little bit better collision with the ground. Okay, so okay, so now we have a better collide with the ground for sure. I just don't feel the hit here, the way the foot is hitting the ground. I just don't feel that right yet. So, maybe I can try playing with a little bit more here with the rotation. Maybe like this. And same thing here. So everything is working except, like, this right now, this controller, like this Z is I think this up and downs here, they are kind of breaking the motion here. So maybe I need to just minimize all of this thing. If I just scale down and make all of this kind of similar, and then that might look weightier. Okay, so now I can add few more bumps here. So I'm going to add a key here, and then as the foot is going down, I'm going to increase the rotation. I'm going to increase more. So I'm just trying to animate frame by frame with my feel. So I'm just gonna keep it there and mix rest of it. Okay, so this is good. And and then I'm gonna let it roll forward slightly, and can keep it that way. And here I think I can start speeding up a little bit the angle. Okay, so that might work. So now we have a little bit of a different angle coming out. And the good thing is, once this leg is done, we don't have to spend all that time in the other leg. Okay, that's working. So now as this leg is coming down, maybe I can add a little bit more impactful kind of feel here. Okay, just giving a little bit of a shake here. Let's see how it looks now. That's better, for sure, it's way better. Now we can try some sideways jiggle as well. So as this foot is going down, you see like here there was a break in the motion. So I'm gonna go to the rotate Y here. So maybe I'm just gonna keep it down, and I'm gonna keep it going up. And yep, just giving a nicer, smoother motion. Okay, so that's working. Okay, so now we do have to polish the fingers. We haven't started that. Now let's get some more up and downs right on the body. So we have the downward motion nicely done. So it's bent down. So I'm going to keep it down till frame 9. I'm going to add another key. So we'll start animating the so yeah, this video is continuing till now. I think maybe I can now, as we are moving to the body, I'm going to just quickly press Ctrl Z, and so that we haven't did anything on the body yet. So I'm going to pause here. So this is enough work for the foot for now, for the main pass of the foot. Now it's time for us to move to the body pass. So I'm going to stop recording, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.